In this video, if you are struggling to make money online or figure something out like a business or getting into sales, I'm going to tell you what held me back from succeeding at those things back in the day. And I'm going to tell you how I fixed those so that you can ultimately do the same. So I struggled with a lot of things when I was trying to figure all this stuff out. Procrastination, all these negative thought patterns in my head that I didn't think were a big deal at the time, but later I was like, what the fuck? How did I not see that that was holding me back? So I'm going to tell you how I fixed all that stuff and went on to make over 20K a month as a high ticket closer. And now I have access to multiple high ticket closer jobs anytime I want where I can go and make that much. So I used to be in your exact position, doing what you're doing now, sitting on YouTube, trying to figure it out. And I'm just going to give you some things that I wish I had done differently that would have helped me get to that money much faster. So number one, and I put this in number one because this is what most people struggle with, is too much information consumption and too much internet research. Today, you have access to more information than any group of humans in the history of the planet times 50 billion, right? That's probably a conservative estimate. So when I first started, I would consume business and sales content from all kinds of different people, which is guaranteed what most of you are doing. And you're probably getting information and advice from like 50 different people. What are the problems with this? One is it's just too much information. You don't need that amount of information to achieve anything. You probably need about 1% of the information that you have consumed, and then you need to go and take action on that information. But no one ever takes any action. They just continually do research and think that somehow they're going to keep doing the same thing and get a different result. This is how you're going to learn and succeed, by taking action on each piece of information that you learn. Consuming like educational info, doing research, these things get you nowhere. You are not actually learning anything, okay? Consuming too much information and doing too much research is confusing, and it overloads your brain, which keeps you from making any moves at all. And on top of that, you're probably getting conflicting pieces of advice from all these different people, which is only making the problem worse. It's only making you freeze up more. You have no idea what to do. And this is basically what happened to me. I would do obsessive research because I take everything I do to the extreme, and I would just do research forever. Like, what's the best business to start? What's the best way to get into sales? What product should I sell? Let me do research and make sure I'm making the right decision and that this all works out perfectly. Like, just all this shit, dude. And I did that for way too long, and I never did anything. And I know you watching this can relate. So this is probably what most of you are doing. What you need to do is stop immediately. And you need to start doing something today. Anything. Just get started. Take the first step, because that is going to get you where you want to go ultimately much faster than doing research. Just massive action. So as an example, let's take an example of two different people. One dude does tons of research, okay? He sits on the internet all day and researches everything, but he never does anything. He doesn't do any outreach. He doesn't try to start a business. He never makes any moves at all. Then you have the second guy who doesn't do any research really. He does maybe a couple days research on a business model he wants to start, and he doesn't care what any of these 10, 20, 30 influencers in the space are saying or telling him is right and wrong. He's not even watching their content. He's like, I don't care what some guy on the internet said. I'm doing this. And then he just starts immediately. He starts doing outreach. He messages hundreds of people a day. He starts throwing up content, even if he thinks it sucks or he's not doing it right. He doesn't care because he's trying to succeed. That is his ultimate goal. Most people are trying to do things right. The people who succeed are just trying to succeed. There's a huge difference, okay? This guy is just firing shots. The second guy is going to succeed way faster because he's actually doing things that are going to move the needle, that are actually going to get results. He doesn't care if he makes mistakes. He doesn't care if he's making the wrong choices. He just learns from it, and then he gets right back to it and keeps trying. And because of that, he's going to succeed and make lots of money long before you've ever gotten off the starting line. So this is what I would do. You need to decide right now what it is you want to do. Do you want to get into high ticket sales? Do you want to do a closer role, a setter role? Or if you're trying to start a business, pick the business you want to start and just today make a commitment and go all in. Say, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to stop doing all this research and bullshitting myself watching YouTube videos, and I'm going to create a daily plan for myself, and then I'm going to work hard on that plan every single day until this works, even if it takes years. Okay? And then you should pick at the same time, pick like one person who has been successful at the thing that you are trying to do and only get information from them. Because as you're working on stuff, it helps to have a resource to go to, of course. But overloading yourself with advice from like 10, 20, 30, 50 different people is a recipe for disaster. You do not need 99% of that information. So pick one, max two people, and only get info and advice from them while you're working towards something. And that's what I eventually did. I said, this is stupid. Like, I'm not getting anywhere. This internet research is not putting money into my bank account. I just got sick and tired of worrying about stuff, and I just went ballistic. So you should do the same. And a perfect example of this is if you look at my old social media videos, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, whatever, like, in my opinion, 50% of those videos are bad, are terrible, 50% of them. Because I don't overanalyze it. This is what most people do. I don't overanalyze it. I just think of an idea and I say, okay, is this valuable for you guys? And whether that's with sales, business, or life, it doesn't matter, and I just rip it. As long as the answer to that question is yes, I just rip the video. I don't overanalyze it. Because some people are going to get value from it, even if I think it's bad or cringe. They aren't going to think that. So I just do it. And that is how you end up succeeding. Not thinking you're going to craft the perfect thing every time or make the perfect move every time. These things are never going to happen, okay? And this is what people who get nowhere do. They worry about these dumb things. People who are always trying to be perfect and do things right all the time never get anywhere. You have to put yourself out there a lot. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times you're going to look stupid. Sometimes you hit home runs. That's just how it goes. So if you want to succeed, you need to get comfortable with putting yourself out there and putting your ego on the line every day. Also, too much internet research, and I know we're getting long on this topic, but it's important. Too much internet research held me back because it gave me a false sense of time, like how long it was going to take. So what does that mean? Before I got into high ticket sales or online business, I would do research and try to figure out how long it would take me with each business or with sales to get to like 10K a month, all this stuff. And then like months would go by when I could have just been working on something and I hadn't done anything, you know? And I was trying to figure this thing out. It's ultimately so stupid. Like, the time is passing. Either way, just get started. What are you doing? You know? It doesn't matter what someone on the internet tells you, like how long something is going to take. They have no fucking idea how long it's going to take for you. No one can give you that answer. Do you understand? It doesn't matter what someone tells you. Until you get started, you have no idea what's going to happen or how long it's going to take. The faster you start, the faster you're going to get there. That's just how it is. It will take as long as it takes, which is different for every single person. Now, the next thing I did wrong when I started was at first, I didn't try, and all of these go together, as you will see as we go through the video. I didn't try to figure things out more on my own. So what does this mean? This is another example of the internet hurting you more than it's helping you. Whenever I would hit the smallest of obstacles, or I had to figure out the tiniest thing, didn't matter, I would instantly go, oh, let me go to YouTube, and I'll watch like 18 videos on this, you know? And I'll spend like an hour watching this guy's content, an hour watching this guy's content on how to do this, or what should I do? And then like hours go by, sometimes even days, good God, man. And I still hadn't even gotten started or tried to solve the problem or done anything. So what I should have done is been like, okay, I need to do this, but I'm not totally sure what to do or if this is the right thing to do. But how about I just try this? Or I'll try it this way. Let's just see what happens. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try this way, right? And just by diving in and trying, yes, you're going to have to feel your way around in the dark. But figuring things out that way is how you really learn something. It's how you deeply understand something, not by consuming information on things, okay? You know how, like, and maybe you don't understand this, but if you take a business professor who's taught business out of books for like 30 years, and then you take an entrepreneur who's never been to he doesn't even have a high school degree, but he's been running successful businesses and making tons of money, this guy is going to fucking mog this guy. This guy didn't know shit. He's been living in books for decades. He's not doing anything. Do you understand? It doesn't matter how much info you consume. You don't know shit until you do stuff. That's all that matters. Do you understand? So, for example, I give you guys the methods to do outreach all over this channel. I tell you exactly what to do, exactly what to say, so you have a blueprint from someone who's mastered it, someone who's done it successfully for years. But I went through trial and error and figured all of that out on my own. No one helped me with that. And by doing that, now I also know instinctually what the wrong things are, because I made every mistake in the book and I hit like 10 brick walls before I got anywhere. So while I can give you a step-by-step plan, like the business professor can give you a plan, I can't give you the blueprint or the map. I can give you a blueprint, but I can't give you the map that's up here that only I can see. Right? This guy running all these businesses can't give you the map that he's accumulated over decades of doing shit. There's a big difference in information and actual experience. Experience is going to mog information all the time. That's why you need to get started doing stuff. The more stuff you do, the better you're going to get, the more you're going to learn, the more money you're going to make. So you just need to dive in. And when you make mistakes, you inevitably succeed. And you will understand how to do something 10 times better than someone who just watched YouTube videos for years with a step-by-step plan. You know, experience is always going to trump everything. The faster you get experience, the better. Next, the faster you start trying to figure things out on your own, the faster you're going to find your specific way of doing things. So what's an example? When I first started doing this, like this sales program, I wanted to start this. I knew I was going to have to start doing a lot of social media content, right? TikToks, Reels, YouTube. And before all these channels, I had never done any of that before. So I went to someone who was really good at social media and paid them to give me advice, gave me help, worked with me directly, told me what to do. But the problem was it was his way of doing things. And when I started trying to make content that way, it was not good. It was fucking terrible. Because it was like his style that didn't match me. But I took the advice that he gave me, I tried it, and I saw that it didn't really work for me. And I was like, okay, well, what if I tweak it a little like this? What if I do things this way, or I try it this way? And through trial and error, through action and messing up and making mistakes, I eventually figured out what worked best for me, right? You are never going to be able to avoid this part of the equation. You're not going to study enough information where one day you're going to wake up and just punch a button and magically easily make money while you sit on the couch and never have to do anything hard. But that's like what the back of your mind is thinking. You've got to start doing shit and start messing up and failing and getting uncomfortable and doing the boring actions every single day. This is the only way you're going to get anywhere, not by sitting on the computer. Okay, and I'm getting like intense with you guys because this is what held me back for so long, doing all this stuff. So I did all this stuff. So whatever you want to do or learn, you're gonna have to figure out what works for you. That's the punchline to that point. And lastly, I'll tell you why I think I have been able to be successful at anything I've ever tried. The one thing I have done that makes me so successful at sales, business, everything I've ever tried is I just show up every single day. And I notice this is what most people do not do, okay? I show up every single day, especially on the days that I don't feel like it. On those days, I work even harder. Whether I feel like it or not, whether it's a bad day or a good day, I'm just there like a robot doing the thing. And most people I know in real life are not like this, and they don't do this. Most people do things for a few days at the most, bro, maybe a few weeks, and then they quit or they give up or they get emotional and discouraged. This is grown men. Or they get distracted by TikTok and they just start doing something else. And I know this stuff because I work with tons of people. And this is what most people do. It's like this with the gym. It's like this with making money, with anything they start. Whereas I'm just like a robot, like a machine. I will do the exact same thing every day for years until it works. Even if it doesn't work for years, I will just keep going no matter how I feel. So most people, I feel like they need too much stimulation these days. They say they want to succeed, but they really don't. They just like the idea of it, right? And then when it comes time to do the work, they're like, oh, well, I'd just rather watch TV. Whereas for me, if I tried to sit down and watch TV, I would have like an existential breakdown. I'd be like, what are you doing? Get back to work, right? So you need to figure this stuff out in your mind. Most people need too much stimulation. But if you want to succeed at anything, you have to show up every single day. And most of those days, you're not going to want to do it. That's just normal for anybody. And you need to do the same boring, not fun, not stimulating things over and over and over for months and possibly years until you succeed. That is the actual real secret for success that you are looking for when you're doing internet research. It is show up every day when you don't feel like it until it works. And no one can tell you when it's going to work. That's reality. And that's all I've ever done. I just see something I want and I just show up every day until I get it. There's nothing else to it. And an example of my first high ticket sales job, I was taking calls when I finally got that job. I was taking calls 5 days a week, but on my off days, I would show up and study the call recordings. I would go through the program many times over. I would do all this extra work that wasn't asked of me. So 7 days a week, this was all I was doing. And I'm not saying you have to do that to succeed in high ticket sales. You don't. But for me, I was finally like, damn, I just worked so long to get this job. And I was trying to find some way I could make a shitload of money from the internet. And I finally found it. Why wouldn't I go all in? What the fuck do I need 2 days off for? A week? 2 days a week? This is crazy. Like, I've been searching for this and I finally got it and I need days off? What? Like, why would I not go all out? Why wouldn't I go all in? So you just need to ask yourself, how many times have you started something and then stopped after a couple of days or a couple of weeks? What if you hadn't stopped? What if you had kept going? What if you never stopped? Don't you think it would be unreasonable for you to fail at anything that you wanted if you just showed up every single day and refused to give in until it worked? You know, that's all you have to do. Bash your head against the wall until it works. But I think people want things to be complicated. That's what I honestly think. They want there to be this super secret, like complicated plan that evil rich people are gatekeeping from them, like on making money or business, so they can have an excuse to give up. And that's just not what it is in reality. That's not real. If you believe that, you spend too much time on the internet. Go outside. You know, everything is simple. Just show up, do it every day. Most of the time that work is not going to be fun and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you just do it anyway because you want the goal, the ultimate result, and you just do it until it works. You just don't stop. If you approached anything that you wanted to do with this mindset, and you just stuck to it, it would be impossible for you to not succeed at it. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer job or a setter job, go to the links in the description. Until next time.